Thanks for joining us today on another episode of Constructive Conversations, where we aim to bridge the gap in communications between contractors and customers. Joining me today is Kevin Halliday, owner of Spindle Stairs and Railings and many other companies. So it's a pleasure to have you today. Thanks for coming on. Today in our conversation with Kevin, we cover his journey, starting his business, growing into a vertically integrated structure across multiple businesses, his mentors, his mindset, getting into bodybuilding, competing, and public speaking, among many other topics. So you're going to enjoy this one.
You know what? Thank you very much for having me come on your show here, because I have a podcast as well. And then when you had reached out and said, hey, let's talk about the construction and about communications and where they're at. And I was thinking, well, that's kind of interesting. When was the last time we did something for the first time? And I'd always ask myself that. And if you ever see it in the paper or ever you see anything out there, the first question is always about, you want to have the wow. And thanks for having me here, because when you look at podcasting and you look at where we're at, it's about the wow. And it's about having a great conversation and building up on entrepreneurs and our business ideas and everything like that. But thanks for having me on board.
Yeah, thanks for coming out. I've been enjoying your podcast. So that was the inspiration. I got to talk to this guy. This guy has done a lot of cool stuff. So maybe let's start there. What do you do now? And what does your company look like?
Oh gosh. So right now what I'm in is what we call is personal branding. So I own a bunch of companies. So I have a company called Spindle Stairs and Railings. So I started that 25 years. Yes, 25 years ago, because today is our 25th anniversary. Amazing staff. We have over, if you're to combine all our staff together, okay, we have over 500 years of experience. Okay, so when you look at that and the experience that we bring out to the Calgary market in the stair and railing industry is amazing. Now, are we great at what we're doing? We're amazing. Do we make mistakes? All the time. Do we communicate well? We think we do. Do we do? You know what? It's an everlasting, ever-growing concern that communication, we think we know it, but we actually don't know it. It's to create that curiosity. Can we ask better questions when we're dealing with customers? Can we ask better questions when we're dealing with suppliers? How do we make our customers number one? And we say we do, because in business, what do you have? Our competitors have price, quality, service. Now, if we all do not have price, quality, and service, you wouldn't be in business in the first place. You have to have those. Those are what we call our non-negotiables. So that's the first step. So Spindle Stairs and Railings, 25 years. During COVID, I opened up another company during COVID called Plexi Canada. And the idea of Plexi Canada was that Plexi Canada was regarded as, well, guess what? COVID hit, the bomb went off. And what do? So basically, when you look at COVID and what had happened, it made everybody at an even playing field. Now, in the construction industry, we were able to work. Okay, so the greatest thing, and they had CERB. In the hospitality industry, they weren't able to work. So what that did, it just basically put everybody down at an even key. It's not even even. It's basically brought everybody down to here. Now, businesses got destroyed. Now, when I say destroyed, I don't mean destroyed that they're dead, because death is not the end of where you're at, because when we lose a business or a business goes under, it's a rebirth, okay, the rise of the phoenix. So it's a rebirth of where you're at. So when people, like a lot of companies go under, they think it's the worst thing ever. No, it just means you didn't ask yourself a better question. You didn't ask where we can go to the next level. Now, the next level comes into play, and let's talk COVID. Well, as we looked at restaurants in the hospitality industry, well, we need to help them. And we created Plexi. So all the barriers, AHS, we helped them with all their barriers. We wrote the manuals on the barriers. We did all this. And another gentleman by Chad McCormick was one of my partners in that came up with the ideas as well. We worked together on basically doing Plexi everywhere. And we sold millions of it. Like, it was everywhere, which because we were fast. And the only reason why we were fast to market and fast to what we were doing is that I had the labor force. If you can control the labor, you can control the market. And what I mean by that is that at Spindle Stairs and Railings, we manufacture spindle stairs, railings. We take a tree, debark it. Well, we don't do the debarking. And we have 4-quarter, 8-quarter, 6-quarter, and that's rough dimensional lumbers. And we can turn it into any commodity that's out there. But our commodities only supply us, which is the railing side. Like, we can make doors, moldings, baseboards, casings, hardwood floors. We can make all of it. But we only do what supplies us. Now, because it supplies us and I have the labor force, because I also do the supply and install, and I wrote a book, The Art of Spindle Stairs and Railings, and it's the installation part of that. So I wrote a book understanding how to control the labor. How does labor work? How does that manifest into greatness? Is that we looked at that labor part of it and said, well, wait a second. We know that we can build a hotel and restaurants, like we can build office tables, we can build basically anything. So when we were doing the COVID part, we looked at it and said, well, let's just change our labor and move it from here to here. So we're able to open up companies literally overnight. Because I have my employees and it's like 50 to 100, and it varies all the way through that we're doing, because we're able to do different stuff in our labor force. We're able to basically diversify and create any product or widget or commodity that's needed to be done in the industry as of today. New technology, AI, we look at AI, we look at basically AI, there's the CAD, the Revits, and architectural designers, they're all using this stuff, and then the schoolies, they're using this stuff. But what happens is, when we're in this great information center of getting great ideas out, we take AI and take it into the construction industry, because the construction industry, when you look at it as a whole, is pretty mom and pop. You'll have a smaller company over here, another one over here. Their transitions, they basically bought themselves a job, so they get into that, and they're great craftsmen. So you have one guy that's a great craftsman, or his dad will show his young son how to do that, and it's mom and pop, and it's great. It works for them, and they make great money, and they're very craftsmen. Well, how do you standardize customization? And that's where we come into play. We're our training, and then technology aspect comes into play. Is that able to take, if you could put basically the space shuttle or any widget or commodity into space, and remember this, it's snap kits. Yes, someone's manufacturing, they put it together, it's engineered. What's the difference in the construction industry? So we are able to, is basically when we're manufacturing staircases or manufacturing plexi or manufacturing my other commodities, urban studio sheds, because I build up pop-up studios, we do them as stair kits. We do everything as kits that everything snaps together. Why do we do that? We need to control the labor, okay? Is there going to be a labor shortage? Is there a labor shortage? Is there a housing shortage? Of course there is. But what does each individual company give back to put back to help out in the industry? And that's where we come into play. And we're able to create, with the technology, kits, stair kits that snap together. We're able to build construction grade stairs in like 13 minutes. Like nobody's ever done that.
Yeah.
So we've taken machines, said, okay, let's ask ourselves a better question. Why does it do this? Can we do this? And to create that, why do we take mono stairs and glass stairs and this? And basically, can we standardize, again, customization? Can we control the labor force that it's basically like IKEA? IKEA does a brilliant job. Sure, you get their stuff, they snap it together, here's the directions. That's where we come into play, is to create the wow effect in the construction industry. What is that? I've created an app. We created an app, it's called the Halliday Permits. And we only use it for ourselves. And everything I do is always for myself. And I created an app that at any given time, in real time, I know every single permit that's being pulled in, every single job in Calgary that's being done in real time. Wow. I can tell you when the garbage is being removed. So we have an app. So our sales team, when they're going out there, when they're in an area, they know exactly what the project's doing, exactly what it's happening. Everything's right there on their handheld device, so that lead generations, how do you get leads? Okay, a lot of people look at that. How do you get leads? Where does that go? So I created an app with my son, Braden. So actually with my son, he was actually the one doing it. So to say, how do we take it to the next level? And it was to ask a better question on sales and stuff. So we needed to make sure that we're way ahead of the industry, way ahead of the wow factor. And that's why we're able to create new companies, bring in new entrepreneurs that want to do something. And then with our companies growing and doing different things, it's the wow factor. And we've been in Calgary, like I said, 25 years. We supply all over. People would look at me and say, "You're crazy what you're doing. Like, I can't believe you're doing this and this." And I said, "Well, then there's personal branding. We got to brand this, and then we have this company." So I touch all of it. And then I also compete in professional bodybuilding to basically, because I'm 55, is to compete to take the mindset to another level. So I'm writing a book, The Art of Spindle Stairs and Railings, and I'm writing another book called The Obsessed Mindset, is basically how to take your mind and truly go to the next level on anything you do. So it can be construction, it can be hospitality, it can be everything, and truly focusing your inner self and your inner greatness of each individual. So I hope I'm not getting into rambling on.
No. That's all good stuff. I'm going to be excited for that book. So what I got from that is you have this labor force, and then you have the adaptability and flexibility. So you can quickly, like you said, overnight, you can repurpose them and say, okay, we need to shift and focus on this. We can produce the plexiglass, on overnight notice. And then like how you created that wow factor versus the mom and pop shop. You took that craftsmanship, you standardized it, you put that into a kit, into a system where you can still get the same craftsman end result product, but you can plug that into your labor force and do it at scale.
Yeah. And one of the things that we found when we talk about communications with the trades and communications with customers is that, and this is why that kit came into play, is that communication. We went to the architects and the designers and asked them a question. What is your greatest pain point? And now they have lots of pain points, but one of them, let's narrow it down to one pain point in the construction area of spindle stairs and railings, of the railing aspect of it. What is your pain point in that? Well, when talking to the interior designers and architects, one of the biggest things that they would do and they would design is that they would have the most brilliant idea of a staircase, and they saw it on Pinterest, House, or wherever they saw it, or created it in their head what that was. They put it onto paper, show it to the customer. Customer loves it, thinks that's the greatest idea since sliced bread. And the point of the matter is that now they take that, so the architect and the designer now put their idea of the staircase into the plan. Now they go and they give it to a builder. They give it to the builder. The builder, whoever that builder is, says, oh yeah, that's great, we'll do it. So the builder has his own trades and suppliers. So he deals with this drywall company, this railing company, this finishing company, or he may even have his own hardwood floor company, or however he wants to do it. So he has his systems in play. Now, what's interesting with the systems in play, they usually go back and say, come in, and because they have a certain person they're using, is that the communication falls because from the architect and designer and the customer, okay, the three there have a vision. Okay, so the architect, and so they're all online, yet they have their issues. Then when it comes to the builder side of it, the builder truly isn't listening to what they're saying, because he's listening to what he has in his toolkit, meaning I've got this railing guy, I'll use railings, I'll stick into my industry. So he has this guy who's a railing company, good, bad, or indifferent, but he can only do this, or he does this. Oh, wow, that can't be done, that can't be done, that can't be done. There's no such thing as can't. I don't get that when it can't, or this guy. There's solutions. We're called the solution providers.
Is that a mindset you've always had, or developed that?
No, always had it. You had to have that.
There's no such thing as can't.
There's no such thing as can't. It's always, there's never the why. Well, why are you doing? Why? The why. Simon Sinek's the why. It's not about the why. It's about doing. And set the bar. You have to set the bar high, not somebody else. Now, if there's issues that you literally can't do it, you have to find solutions, whatever that's going to be. But sticking to the railing side of it, they would go in there and say they can't do this, and then all of a sudden there's so much going on with that house package, and the stairs is just a small portion of it. When you look at that part, they would turn around and go, oh, you can't do it. So then what do? They just put a standard stair in. They just put standard railing in, and just the run-of-the-mill stuff. Nothing really spectacular, which is great if that's what they want. But when everything's all said and done, the customer designs, interior design don't get exactly what they want. Okay, and every single time it gets sidetracked. Oh, the guy did this. Now they're on the house. Oh, well, this framing's wrong, or this is wrong, and it's been an ongoing issue. And you see that it's kind of like, it's like Groundhog Day. We get to see that repeat over and over and over and over. And I'm not saying my competitors are bad or they're good. They're who they are. They are who they are. They're limited to what they do and how they take themselves to the next level, and that's okay. They're allowed to be that. But we looked at it and said, okay, so let's ask these guys, the interior designers, architects. Now I'm going to do all the prep work at the beginning. I'm going to now, because of technology, let's not just do pictures of 3D modeling. That's nice. We do that anyway. But let's take it one more step. Let's 3D print it. So why not 3D print? I can 3D print a whole house. I can 3D print built-ins. I can do it for 3D print chairs. So why can't I do it with railings? So I do that with railings. So a customer has a vision. The engineer and the architects have a vision. they have the house. They don't have to worry about building code. They don't have to worry about structural engineering. They don't have to worry about any of that. We look after that. We 3D print it. We make sure it's coded. We make sure that everything meets code. Everything's in compliance. We look after that. And right at the thing, so that concept, what they have in their head becomes reality. So if you can imagine it, we can make it. So we've taken that aspect and said, okay, let's communicate better with the customer and say, okay, you want this, and there's a cost to it. You want this, and cost is not a bad thing. As we would also say, profit is not a dirty word. Okay, so when I get into this segment, I talk about sales fuels our ego, profit fuels our family. So in a business, we all have to make profit. So when we're doing these custom designs, but I'm going to give you as a customer exactly what you want. So my 3D models are exactly to scale, exact to what you're going to get. So there is no, well, you said this, could have, should have, would have. Well, why didn't you tell me? Oh, I signed off on this. I should have read my contract. I should have, could have. I would have should all over myself. So the idea is to make sure that our communication is so crystal clear, and we're humans, is that we like to touch and feel things that we're going. Yes, some people like to read, and they have their contracts and they go through them and they're very detailed. And that's awesome. I love those guys, because then all of a sudden nothing gets missed, and that's awesome. We're going through. But then you'll get the guys that, okay, this is the feel I want to feel, and we got to show that. So that's where the 3D modeling comes in, and you get mono staircases, glass, floating, freestanding. Nobody does that. Where we're able to give you 3D modeling and take it to the next level. So then all of a sudden communication, cost-wise, is less money. So we're able to put it out there.
You've bridged that gap so they can get exactly the product that they want. You take care of their pain points because you take care of all the designs, the engineering, the code.
Yeah, 90% of your customers out there, 99% of your customers are going to be very happy all the time if you can communicate. As soon as the lack of communication stops, that phone call, and guys always say price, quality, and service. Okay, yes, you have to have all three, but out of all three of those, who's really good at it, right? And they become a whole different level. How great are you at communicating? How great is your follow through? As soon as you walk into that, and in the construction industry, never mind how I started my business 25 years ago, and I've never installed a railing ever before in my life. I hire great people that do great things. So that's where that comes into play.
Yeah, can we get into that? Like,
definitely.
How did you get started? What did that look like?
So I got started into the industry about 25 years ago. My parents had a company out of Edmonton called Spindle Factory. They owned up there. We didn't see eye to eye in a business. So people that are in a family business, large businesses, will understand how hard and difficult that is to bring family, and they hold the care and they bring it in. Good, bad, or indifferent. That's just the reality of it. And there's some guys out there like Shane Holmes and Shane and Cal, and I talked to him on my podcast and as well. Generational people working together. They did an amazing job. They're the 90%. They're the small percentile that are very successful and a great guy. So when you see family businesses working together, it's a very difficult trait to get into. And so on my family side, we didn't see eye to eye. So I started up a company called, Spindle Stairs and Railings. 25 years ago, and I was in a Home Depot parking lot, and I needed my business license. Now, I never installed a railing ever before. It was just me, and in Calgary, and I got my first sale, like I said, in the Home Depot parking lot. A guy had come out, and that bought my business license. Now, I bought material. Now, how do you install that in a house? So I looked for installers and going in there, and I sold out of my truck with a business card and my truck going door to door, measuring up the railings, the area, and buying the product and finding an installer to install it. Because I never knew how to install, right? But you have to remember one thing, is that I have it what we call, so when I started up Spindle Stairs and Railings, I started it from zero. And the greatest thing about Spindle Stairs and Railings is the internet was just coming out back in the day. So what did I want to call it? Kevin's Railings, okay? Halliday Railings? No, because it wasn't big enough. So I needed to call it a name that would make it big enough. So I called it Spindle Stairs and Railings. So gave each name because of the internet, thinking that, SEOs. And I was way ahead of the game on SEOs, like way when that was coming, before, like it was just coming out. And I said, well, wait a sec, the internet's going to be big. And we saw this. And I said, well, I'm going to name my company. So Spindle Stairs and Railings, thinking the SEO. And then looking for my website, I wanted to have my website to be ssr.com, spindlestairsandrailings.com. Problem is Chevrolet came into business. Okay, Chevrolet, the truck, there was that yellow Chevrolet truck. It had come into the business, but the Chevrolet truck, they had the rights to it. I was like, oh no, they got the rights to it. There'll be another topic about how to do SEOs on name searches, because we have companies that do that. But the thing is, I couldn't get SSR, but I had Spindle Stairs and Railings. Now the problem with that is with the web. So I had the name Spindle Stairs and Railings, but the problem with the website, singular, plural, like is it spindle, stairs, railings, railing. So I'd have to buy all those domains and get the spelling right. So then we're going, okay, well, that's great. I'm going to buy them anyway. They're $10, $5, or $1 at the time. I think maybe not even, they're 10 cents. But the problem is you had to say, how does a customer want to buy? Well, if you have to spell the name wrong, it's going to be too, and we were going, okay, that's going to be way too hard. Okay. Then we went back, and then our advertising guys, I said, well, how do we make that even simpler? We gotta dig down, ask ourselves better. And this is 25 years ago, and I'm asking myself better questions. Greatstairs.com. Let's own that.
That's great.
Greatstairs.com. Done. Bought it. So that's our website, is greatstairs.com. And then we'd have greatcasings.com. I also bought the rights to Stairway to Kevin. Well, not the rights to Stairway, sorry, not the rights to the song, but I also I bought the .com to Stairway to Kevin. So I made sure I had all these. So I have about 50 domain names that wrap around this one, just to make sure. So if I was creating new companies or anything, you always create a company around the actual website back in the time, which would be your .com or .ca, preferably .com or in one of those aspects. .ca is obviously Canada, and then .com worldwide. So there's a lot more to it than that. But so anyway, so I have those. So the first thing that I saw when I started my business was that here I am, I'm going to start a railing company. Okay. I'm familiar with it, never installed a railing before, but as an entrepreneur, you have to ask yourself deep down, what are your non-negotiables? Now, a non-negotiable is that, what are you not going to give it? Yes, people say integrity, this, that's fine. Well, the standard line. But truly look at yourself and say, what would be a non-negotiable is that there's no such thing as failure. What is the worst thing that could ever happen? Nothing. And I looked at that if this did not work, I wasn't going to go get another job well, I'm good at this, I'll go do this. There was no escape. There was no way I was not going to fail. There was no way I was going to fail. This was a non-negotiable. When you make your first sales call, and I only had myself, when you make your first sales call, and I'm going door to door, and I'm installing, and I'm going into the builders, and Landmark Homes was one of my first builders back then, and they believed in me. Jenna Maylott Homes with Adrian Malott believed in me. And when I went to them, I looked them in the eye, and they knew I needed this sale. Okay, it's not that they knew I needed the sale. I'm gonna service you. I'm gonna give you whatever it takes. But if I didn't have that sale, I couldn't eat. I couldn't pay my mortgage. This was a non-negotiable. You go to somebody that is passionate and believes, you know what? If I don't get this sale, I don't eat. Can you have the passion and desire to look somebody in the eye and actually say, you know what, and ask for the order? You say, listen, my prices are there, price, quality, and service. They're non-negotiable. They're already there, so you know you hit it. Now, why won't you buy? I'll be here tomorrow. I'll sleep here.
You had the conviction to make the sale.
It was a non-negotiable. I would close 90% of my deals.
Wow.
Why? Because I was so passionate and I believed in everything that I did that there was no way I was going to fail.
Yeah,
there was no way.
There was no plan B. So you had to burn the boats mentality. Oh, I'm going to make this work.
And it was one of those things, you eat or you be eaten. And going in there, my competitors, they didn't like me. Kevin, they had bets. There's no way that this guy's going to survive. He's never done railing. Here's this guy. He's going to go. He doesn't even have a manufacturing facility. You got to remember, I only had a truck. And then I go buy the product, go over there, find someone, put it, install it, and do it. And compete against the bigger bigger builders, but bigger railing companies out there. They bet. They were putting wages. Oh, there's no way this guy's going to survive. There's no way. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's just a storyteller. He's not going to do it. But they didn't realize the conviction that I had that I could never, ever fail.
Yeah, and failure wasn't an option. And how old were you at this time?
Oh, I was 27. Yeah, I was about 27, 20. Yeah, I think about 27, 25. Yeah, about 27, 20. No, it's probably a little old, 27, 20, 29.
So back then, you have the conviction you're not going to fail. Did you have a vision back then of where you are now, like fully vertically integrated company, doing like way beyond Spindle Stairs and Railings.
100%. I had it mapped out, planned out to a T. So give you an example. Remember when I was telling you about the website? I also said, to give yourself a no way out, you have to think big. Okay, everything you do is big. Example. So I'm living not living. I have a truck. I have a cell number. I made sure that I didn't have a cell number. Like I had a cell number. I still have the same cell number. But the difference was I needed a landline. Remember, I didn't have a place of business yet. I didn't have an actual location. So I went and got an actual phone number, 403-294-0555, and I registered it right away. And then I call forwarded it to my cell. My fax number. I still have those same numbers, same everything identical, same brochure, same layouts as of today. I wrote every day and did my BHAG, big audacious goals, and then did this. I'm going to be the largest in Canada. I'm going to be the wow. I'm going to have manufacturing. I'm going to control, because back then you could see that there's a labor force there's pockets. You could see the growth. I knew exactly what that needed to look like, and I wrote it. I wrote articles saying, I was that, I am that, I will become that. I did. So I would write business plans that this is how big I'm going to be. This is where I am. I'm going to have this facility, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000 square feet. They were already planned out my first day. I knew exactly where I was going. It's like they call it a ship leaving a harbor. Okay. So you got a ship leaving a harbor. You're all motivated. It's all gassed up, ready to go. But if you don't have a destination, you're just going to wind up adrift. Yeah, you're powerful. Yeah, you're excited. Yeah, you're motivated. Yeah, you're determined. But you're just going to go off into Never Never Land and just run out of gas, and nobody will ever see the wiser. But if we have a destination of where we're going at that end, sure, I might have to go here. I might have to go here. I might have to go here. But I know that I'm going to hit here. This is a foregone conclusion. Now, the goal isn't getting here. The goal is the journey. That journey of all of a sudden asking yourself a better question. I started a school up on the labor side of it because there was a labor shortage. Okay, we had to get a school, got the school set up. We had a training program. Didn't see that coming. Boom. Then all of a sudden the market changed, and then we started doing supply and install of finishing packages like molding, spaceports, doors, casings, like for the bigger builders, the Madamies of the world, and going through there. Great companies and all that. But the thing is, the market shifts again. So we were able to adapt and pivot and change, but we were able to create new products, new designs. We were never, ever just Spindle Stairs and Railings.
Right.
We were able to look outside and see what else could we be in the industry that nobody else has ever thought of. How do we open that up? So that whole aspect of the growth potential gave us insight to be anything we wanted to be. Nobody could stop us. And I made sure, I always looked at it like this, is I can run a hospital, but it doesn't mean I'm a brain surgeon. Okay, so I bring in the best brain surgeons, the best installers, the best sales team, the best guys in the back. Everybody that's worked for me, and we've had people work for me and then leave, they actually work for my competition, which is great. Why? Because we know how to train. So guys would start up their own businesses too. People say, well, aren't you upset because you actually now create a competition? No, that means we're really good at what we're doing. And that's where, okay, well, you got installers, you train, and they're going to go work, and that's okay. This is the issue today. It'll change out tomorrow, and that's where we are today. We've got, back in the day, we had the Filipino community that were coming in, and great people, great everything, and the cultural differences, what they were, where they are today, it helped us grow as a company. And then the Ukrainian community now, because of what's been going on, that's totally changed. So cultural wise, and seeing the woke crowds waking up or whatever in construction changing, it's still the same, but we truly get to create new widgets, new commodities, and new companies that nobody else would even think of or even try to touch. So
I like that you had the vision, and you can adjust to the market. The details can change, but you always maintain the long-term vision, like while you're on that journey. So then you knew this is where we're going. Yes, we can adapt to the market conditions, but you still had that vision for everyone.
We always had the vision of doing and adapt to the market conditions. And a lot of people would blame the government, labor shortage, houses, or whatever that story is, but it actually comes down to the company. If a company is having an issue and they're not getting sales, there's other issues out there, is that they're not actually looking internally into themselves and saying, okay, Don't ask what the country can do for me. What can I do for it? And as is the greatest line ever out there. And when we look at that as a company, what can we do to put back into humanity? What can we do to put back into Calgary, greatest city in the world, Alberta, the greatest province in the world. I love this city. And what do we do to give back to help out? Like example, like right now we're doing the flooding, or they had the flooding, this, and people bitch and complain, and that's okay. But what are we doing as a company to say, okay, how can we be better at it? What problems are they going through in the city? Okay, and I'm not talking the politicians, but the actual people they're working on a project and they got people helping them. How does that relate back to your own business? So the experience sharing that they have, we can help you out, and everybody helping each other out, because we communicate back and forth. And what can we do to help each other out? Yes, water saving, building affordable houses. What does that look like? How do we get it? Versus profit over sales and egos, and what does that look like? And asking ourselves better questions, but making sure that as a company as a whole, what are we doing for the city? What are we doing to put back into humanity? And it could be, and some people do with charities, some people do that, but what are we truly doing back for each individual and each entrepreneur out there, and helping them be great at whatever that is to them? And for me, being in this industry for so long, now, what is it to give back as an entrepreneur, as in railings and stairs? And we're obviously dialed in on that part of it, but what else is there? And there's so much out there. Yeah.
So you mentioned like the local business community, and I've heard on your show that you're a member of entrepreneurs organization. Can you talk more about that and how that's been a part of your journey in growing your businesses?
Well, the greatest thing about, as an entrepreneur, anybody that's in the construction industry, hospitality industry, fitness industry, any type of industry, as an entrepreneur, it's and I always use this thing is, as an entrepreneur, it's a lonely road. Okay. Guys will start off their business, and it's usually they're a guy, girl, or the girl starting her business off, and they have their friends, family, and relatives, and they're all hyped and excited about them. Anything you say or do, they're going to believe you. Man, what a great idea. You're awesome. Man, I can't believe you're doing that. You're going to do so well. But that's not what we're looking for as an entrepreneur. Thank you very much. We really appreciate that. And as family, yes, we're going to work hard. Yes, our non-negotiables are hard. But there's the missing link, that missing aha is the actual, what we call, is your mentor. Your no ask is finding a person, and it's not hiring a life coach, it's not hiring a mentor, okay, to hire somebody to do it. How do you get in an organization or get with people like-minded like yourself, entrepreneurs, different industries, non-compete? You have to be non-compete. There cannot be a no ask. It's not there to network. Networking's great for networking events. That's awesome. Yeah. But understand that when you get into an organization like EO, YPO, Tech, and there's a bunch of them out there, and that are really good, and you interview them, like you have to go there and interview that, does this fit your criteria as an ego? Okay, ego's important, and your aspects and aspirations. So, and making sure integrity is there. Is that understanding that you're looking for, and how did it help me, is that getting the right group of people, which is like on my board of directors with a no ask. That they were truly honest and upfront about, here's some of the problems that I'm running into. I'm running into a labor problem. I'm running into an HR problem. I'm running into a taxation problem. I'm running into family issues. My kids want this generational wealth. What does that look like? So everybody brings in something from experience sharing, but without a no ask. You're not paying them to do that, but they're going to give you their honest opinion and speak from what they call their experiences, and not say, you know what, you need to fire that guy because he's just bad, versus give me an experience share. And I had a guy that did the same thing what your employee did, and what he did, because we didn't fire him, this is what had happened to us, and it caused this and this and this to happen to me. So this is the experience that I can give you, versus then all of a sudden just tell you to fire the guy because he's no good. Versus that becomes what we call as the aha moment, that it's all about experience sharing. And when you have an organization or a group of people, peers, they'll get you through those rough tides because they'll be honest with you. And as entrepreneurs, like I said, it's lonely at the top. but they get you through those hard times and stuff, and when you really need them. It's great when things are going great, like, hey, we're making lots of money, this is going great, we're doing this, we're doing this. Oh yeah, here's, and it's an update. So basically, you're basically showing everybody, here, this is how good I am, and this is what I'm doing, everything's awesome. But the egos step in, and egos, that's good. But then it's the reverse side. I can't make payroll. I can't, so and so didn't pay me. Now, in the construction industry, and that's a big problem, is getting paid on time, asking for the money, and you think you got the money, then you don't have the money. The storytelling, it's in the bank. And now, this is the interesting part. It's in the mail, don't have the money, whatever the story is. But that same problem is in every industry. It's not just the construction industry. It's in the clothing industry. It's in all industries have that same problem, cash flow. So how do people handle cash flow? Do you take deposits? Do you do this? How does that? Or are you bonded? Or like, there's so many different ways. Or do you lien them? Or do you do this? Everybody has a system or process. You just need to ask the right questions and what it works for you. So as young entrepreneurs, they'll say, find an organization, but that works for you, that will be experiential sharing. A lot of people will have organizations that they work in their industry. Try not to work in your industry. Like, try not to get experience sharing in your industry, because it really close minds you. You need to have the experience sharing of a different industry. That's why I'm in the hospitality industry, I'm in the fitness industry, I'm in the construction industry, oil and gas industry. So I'm in all different industries because they all have all different issues. But actually, all the issues are all identical to the same. Right. Manufacturing, same as manufacturing in the oil and gas. Manufacturing safeties in oil and gas and safety in my operations are exactly the same. Some are a little bit more crazy, like the oil and gas industry. And we went to MEG on a tour. Absolutely wonderful company and absolutely wonderful safety programs and stuff like that. Those are stuff, guys, that when we're in the construction industry need to mirror, which we do, because safety is such a big part now. But when you get to see oil and gas and see that and you go, hey, we're actually doing that. Oh, wow. The leaders in the industry. So you get to be proud to be a part of that.
So you have this group of mentors basically, but spread out across different industries. So then you can get input from, there'll be related issues, but then you can apply that knowledge specifically to your industry. And so you've been with them for a long time?
25 years. 25 years. I'm one of their longest outstanding members in EO. It's 25 years. So it's like, holy crow, I've been there that long. And it's a long haul, which a long haul in a good way. Like, it's been there, and my forum group's really good. And we've met some amazing people throughout the years, like Richard Branson. Oh my gosh, I can go down. I can go down the line, and we'd have access to all these people and great people, and get experience sharing about what they're doing, where they're going, and how to get there. So we have access to all these great people, great entrepreneurs, because an entrepreneur wants to share and grow another entrepreneur. We never ever want to push someone down. We want to see them grow and aspire and to be great. So everybody's working together and say, all right, let's go to the next one. What is? Because it's hard and it's difficult. And when a guy that can't make his payroll, or he closes his doors, man, what do you do there? All right, here we go. Let's pull that out of your heart and soul. And a lot of people also get married to their business, that it defines them, that this is their business, and they're known as that business, and this is their child, and that's really dangerous. So if something happens and they feel like they lost and their life is over, oh my God, I'm a failure.
Their personal identity gets crushed.
It's not. So many companies change, pivot, reversed, and then all of a sudden they go under for whatever reasons they go under. It's okay. It's okay to go under. It's okay to go into receivership. It's okay. Life's not over. That's just the journey that's going to start something else up that'll put you in a different direction to go there. It's not a bad thing. And there's so many people that just get beat up over it, and it's really difficult. And I can't speak on experience with that. Like, there's some businesses I had to close down and do it. And we've had some hard times. But I watch people, I say, it's okay. It's okay to fail, because it goes to the next. And it's just like, when does it ever stop? It never stops. Okay, it never stops. It's a grind all the time. If it was easy, everybody would do it.
It's that ongoing journey you mentioned. You have the vision, but it's the ongoing journey. And then that circles back to what you mentioned at the beginning, like having a personal brand. And you didn't call your company Kevin Stairs because you had that bigger vision, that would be limited to your identity. So then, talk more about like what you do for personal branding.
Personal branding is really important, very important. Anybody that's in sales, anybody that's selling, anybody, personal branding is important for everywhere. Social media is very important for everybody too. So some people are very good at it. Some people wish they shoulda, coulda, woulda been on it. Each individual is different, and they have their own approach. But is it a powerful tool? Very powerful tool. If you're a salesperson or if you're looking to market yourself, maximize yourself in social media. Truly make your posts, do your posts, understand it, and brand yourself. If you work for a company and you have your own personal brand, keep branding yourself personally. Tag the company in it, because we get that too. Like Spindle Stairs and Railings, we have people that work for us. But I always say, remember, brand yourself, because it's not about where you are today, it's where you are tomorrow and where you're going to be. Yeah. You need to be great and have integrity. I'm just a stepping stone of greatness. I'm just that one stepping stone for you to go to the next level, whatever that level is to you. If you're staying with me, which I have guys that are 500 years experience, great. They'll be great. They're gonna go on that journey, and I'm gonna make sure they're fulfilled. But at the same time, say if all of a sudden they want to do something on their own and say be an entrepreneur in this, I encourage you. So I encourage you to say, okay, build your personal brand up for yourself, because it doesn't matter if you work for me or if you work somewhere else, you need to be great. Because if you worked for me and you were great and you're doing personal branding and I respect you and give you integrity, my culture is about integrity, I know that when you move from here to here, you'll buy from me. You know what my core values are. You know how I treat customers. You know exactly how I treat my employees. If I treat my employees the same way I treat my customers, I could never lose. So I want to encourage my customers to be the best they possibly can. I'll give them referrals. I want my employees to be the best that they possibly can. And if this isn't a place for them, I'll give them referrals or find a place that's better fit for them in our organization. Because that's why we have the greatest staff in the world, because they know that door. I want them to be great. And then go, well, aren't you mad that I'm leaving? I'm going to go work for the company. No, it's all about you being awesome and great and being great, because that's what's the most important.
You're building everyone up, and that's like a really win-win mindset, right? You just, when you want the best for everyone, they know that, and then they come back to you. And
now, isn't that about giving back to humanity, giving back to Calgary, giving back to the growth, giving back that I'm just a small cog in the wheel that's to make and to aspire and to make young people, old people, whoever's in my organization, absolutely wonderful, so that they can be a great contributor to society, create business, create wealth, create whatever that is. But if they have an idea and they want to create a business, I'm on board with them to be partners in that organization. I'm in partners to create anything that they can, because it's be the things you know that you don't know. How do I not know that this person is not going to be the next mayor? How do I know that he's not going to be the next, have the next most beautiful product, price, whatever he's going to command? Knowing that I was that person that planted the seed of success, to know that he has the integrity because I was his mentor to grow the company and organization. And they have to, and the wow factor. So as a leader, we have to take responsibility as in being a leader. And now back into the personal branding, is that your personal branding cannot be fake. It's about integrity, because anybody can see personal branding, and anybody can go on social media and they can actually see that guy's fake, especially Calgary. So when I talk about people doing social media, your true integrity will come out and your true personality will come out on your social media after time on your posts. Same thing as for me, building a personal brand of kevinhalliday.com. And I have a podcast, Shed Talk. And the reason why the Shed Talk is health, wealth, and mindset. And why do I have location? It's because I manufacture urban studio sheds. So I make these podcast studios. So it's another commodity that I make. So it's about the shed talk. It's not shedding off the skin. It's the shedding of the podcast. And then going in there and truly listening to somebody and having a conversation and deep diving it for curiosity and to see how I can be a better human, at the same time asking better questions. So everybody wins in the conversation. So when we go through that's my personal branding, I look at it and say, why is it important to have personal branding? Well, this is what you're asking the question. And for myself, as I look at when everything's all said and done and Spindle Stairs and Railings is moved on, meaning sold, bought, or however that looks, am I defined as an individual as Kevin the railing guy, or am I defined as Kevin Halliday the entrepreneur? So defining yourself and the storytelling of who you are So I'm Kevin Halliday. I own this, I do this, I do this, and he's about this. Spindle Stairs and Railings is just one part of my whole repertoire.
Yeah.
So it's everything that encompasses integrity and where we're supposed to grow. So my personal brand is not about, oh, Kevin Spindle Stairs and Railings guy. Oh, he owns this, he's a part of this. He's the entrepreneur. So if I ever retire, which there's no such thing as retiring, I would be doing this and I'm a part of this. So I basically writing my resume for everything. So I also do talks. So I do speeches and talks over there about entrepreneurship, health, wealth, and mindset. I don't do a lot of talks in the construction industry, yet I know it very, very well.
Yeah.
Versus I find that the benefit is all about mindset. What does it take to go from zero to hero? What does it take to ask about yourself a better question and meet people and help people grow and see where opportunities lie? But as a personal brand, I do podcasts. I have videographers. Like I make sure that everything's all high end. Everything has to be there. And then what do you do? And remember today, if you're looking today at podcasts, this is the greatest day in history. And it's so powerful that if you were to look at communications in the world as a whole, when in time, when in history that you were able to flip on your computer, put on your camera, and go live around the world in seconds, for the cost that we can do that, millions and millions of people, and
first time in history,
and influence people. That's a lot of power. Now, what people do with that power, fake news, there's a whole ramifications behind that. And why are they trying to govern podcasting? Why are they trying to do that? But when you look at the power that it has right now and the influence that it has on people, holy crow. We need to be, as podcast hosts, we need to be as entrepreneurs, and we need to, as what the storytelling that we're doing, as to be true to who we are and to the people that are listening to us as well, and how to make them great at the same time. But knowing that, careful what you put out there. You better make sure that it's legit. Like
keeping it like principle based.
Correct.
And with the right intention, not just.
And people will be listening to you, and it grows for them. We have the greatest power in the world, and now what we do with it is up to us. And then there'll be a few leaders that will take it and deal with it, and they have social medias that people do that. But so we have a large and a huge responsibility for humanity, a huge responsibility for society, is to make sure that we're telling the right narratives to the right people and being cautious of how we do it. Integrity is very important in this industry, and some people go way offside with it, and that's okay. That's just who they are, and people see through that. So
and like you said, like it starts with mindset, and it sounds like you've had that mindset, asking the right questions right from the get-go 25 years ago. And now, so I've also seen you recently, you've taken that and you're pushing your limits in bodybuilding. Talk some more about like when you started that, and I'm really interested. I might have to wait for your book, but like how do you apply your mindset into that field? Because that was a whole new avenue for you, right?
Yeah, well, yes and no. Okay, bodybuilding, health, wealth, and mindset. Bodybuilding is just like bodybuilding is a company. Bodybuilding is Spindle Stairs and Railings. Okay, so you have to look at it. Everything that you do in life and departmentalize and what to make yourself great. What does it truly mean to be great? So you have to look at yourself and say, where are you at in your life right now to be the best human being that you possibly are? Like, and you can ask yourself the question. Nobody else has to answer it. Only you have to answer that question. And from my experience, and it came to me, and yes, I was motivated. I'm doing stuff before, but there came to a point that I was 240 pounds. So I was 240. I had sleep apnea, severe. Okay, severe sleep apnea. I had gout. Okay, taking pills for gout. Very heavy drinker. So and I was successful. So I was successful. Had my business and everything's running. And 40 some odd years old. And then what was happening was I would look at it as attention relieving or goal achieving. Now remember, I'm successful. Business is running. I've got this. Yeah, I'm working. I'm going through it. I got great staff. I'm motivated. I'm doing it. But where's that fine line? Okay, where's that fine line from good to great? Okay, and there's a book on good to great, but where's that fine line? So one of the things that I looked at is, yeah, I'm successful. So every day, say 4 o'clock, 3:30, 4 o'clock, I'd go to the bar. I'd go to the bar, meet my buddies, have a drink, and oh, what a great day! Oh man, it was a hard day today. Tension, and it goes into tension relieving or goal achieving. Go out with your buddies, have a couple beers, which is awesome. Love my buddies, and we did that back in the day. But it came to a point, and we've been doing it for years and stuff, and nothing wrong, and have a buzz on and stuff like that. But did we ever change the world? Yeah, my businesses are successful. But did you ever dig down deep in who you are as an individual, and really ask yourself as an individual who you are? And when it came down to asking myself as an individual who I was, and the storytelling that I was saying, it was like, okay, well, here I am. Oh yeah, I'm successful. I'm doing this. But it actually came, do I truly love myself? Do I truly, and I know I mean truly love myself. Do I really have respect for myself? Yes, I don't cheat. Yes, I drink. Yes, I'd tell my wife, I would go, yeah, but I don't cheat on you. I'm back at 7. Sure. I'm still married to my first wife. So the thing. So, but what's interesting was that, but did I have respect for myself? So here I am, drinking, overweight, sleep apnea, gout. Oh yeah, and I had bladder cancer. Wow. So, and I had it, but the bladder cancer and then having the cancer wasn't the call to action. The call to action was, do I really respect myself to who I was? And when everything else came about being, I said, okay, no. And I had a friend that was doing a bodybuilding competition, and Chad calls me. He says, hey, she's doing this, Karen. I said, wow, that's got to be hard. I can't believe she did that. I said, you know what? I'm going to do that. And it was November 25th. And I remember the day I stopped drinking. I said, you know what? I can't go on. And it was just, I'm done. It wasn't, and I drank my whole life. And then I quit that day. Just said, I'm done. I really want to be great. Now, being great means I truly have to love myself and be awesome. So when I saw that, I said, wait a second. I'm going to put myself on the opposite scale. And I'm going to be healthy. I'm going to eat, diet, everything exact. David Goggins, I don't know if you've ever heard of him.
Yeah.
Okay. So David Goggins has his scenario, that part. And this goes back to the day. So I know David Goggins and Jesse Etzler. So this gets into back. So when I was back in the day and going in there, it was all about how do I make that change and switch the mind on to do that. And then it was like, all right, I'm going to hire a trainer, stop drinking, and then getting back in, it was a little longer than that. But what had happened was I had the mindset and said the bodybuilding became a job. Then all of a sudden the workout became the job. So what I had to do is say, how do you replace drinking with fitness? Well, you have to replace the time. Okay. What do you take? Because drinking takes up a lot of time. It's 8 hours, 12 hours, whatever that is. That's a lot of time. It really takes up that time. So you take that time away of 12 hours, you just saved yourself 4 days. And you go, where did the days come from? Boy, do you become productive. So I pulled that out. And then what I did is that all my workouts had to be done during work hours. Why? Because it's a job. So create it as a job. And it became, I worked out between 3 and 5 o'clock, 3 and 4 actually. So 3 and 4, 3, 4, 5, right in there was my workout. And I made sure it was on business hours. So no matter what, I hired a trainer, I had to be there at that time because it was a job. Once you did 1, you did 2, you just kept going. And then I wanted to compete in bodybuilding because now it became the mind. Okay. You have to lose from 240 pounds to 161 to compete. Then you have to build muscle. There's a whole mindset to that. And your food, your sleep, everything has to be dialed in. And it's not a diet, it's a lifestyle. So that particular point, that became, wait a second, if I can really dial myself in on the mindset of fitness, I can dial myself in on any business, anything that I'm doing already. I'm already doing it, but now let's be hyper-focused. Let's be obsessed with it. What does it take to truly be obsessed and actually do it? So I'm in the bar and restaurant industry, but I don't go to the bar.
Yeah.
Okay, obviously. So I'm never there past 7. So it's an investor type part of it. So when you get to see this and then all of a sudden you're obsessed with it, you can do anything you want. The proverbial gates just opened up. I can do anything. It was just a matter of pick and choose. Go. I had all this time podcasting, Plexi Canada, any other urban studio sheds, building studio. It could have been anything, and it still can be. Speaking tour, what does that look like? And it was like, holy crow, the light switched on, but it all came because I had to love myself, to meaning truly take care of my body, mind, and soul before I could do it to anybody else. And then once I did that, I could do anything. So that's where getting to the long story short. So it was all about that internal focus and being great, but understanding, do it during business hours. Do it during the times not on your off times. Do it during your time of busy, because then all of a sudden, like, it's like employees or people that are, or business owners, especially entrepreneurs and business owners. Oh, I'm too busy to work. I'm too busy for health. Well, when you have cancer, when you have a problem, you'll be at the doctor and you won't miss those appointments, will you?
Yeah, yeah, like they say,
You'll never miss it.
yeah, if you don't have your health, like what do you have?
No,
Right?
none.
So
And
no, that's great. That's great.
you truly
journey.
have to look at yourself and say, are you prepared to die? Are you okay to die? Meaning, well, did I do everything? And did I do everything that I need to do to be great? And if you have any regrets, somebody says, oh, I don't get along with my dad, or, well, ask yourself this question. If your dad was to die tomorrow or today, would you have any regrets? Oh, I wish I would have said goodbye to him. I wish I would have said and told him. I never told him that I loved him, or my sister, or my aunt, or cousin, or whoever, a friend, or whatever. If you have that saying in your head, I wish I should have, could have, would have, pick up the phone right now, dial that person, say, you know what, Mom, Dad, I just wanted to phone and tell you something. I love you. That's it. Just wanted to phone and tell you I love you. And thank you for being you. And that's it. And you may not even do that ever, but if they died tomorrow, guess what? You know deep down in your heart, because you love yourself and you were that you picked up the phone and you made that phone call, and they knew that you loved them. A friend, phone your friend and say, hey, man, you know what? I truly love you, man. You're awesome. And thank you for being you. I just wanted to put that out there. And as I respect you. If you have the regrets before somebody, or you haven't had closure with something, pick it up and make closure. You'll feel so much better, and then it just grows, and then that's giving back. There's that back to humanity, back to Calgary, back to this, and then we create what we want to be.
Amazing.
So that's my shindig.
That's great. I love it. I love it.
What else you got there?
I want to know, what do you see as the future? So I see you as, like, you have the visionary mindset. You anticipate what's going on in the market, so you adapt to it. So yeah, what do you see, like, in the construction industry coming up in the next 10, 20 years, like the big shifts?
So it's interesting, the construction industry, if you really want to see the construction industry in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, we already know what it's going to look like, okay? So our past dictates our future. So here we are in Calgary. Okay, so let's look at it like this. So Calgary is here we're at. Now let's go to New York, okay? New York is where New York's at, or let's go into California, or not necessarily California, but New York, large cities. Now you have to remember, Calgary has a population of 1 million. Now, you really want to see what the past looks like, or what our future looks like. Let's look at American cities or Canadian cities that have a population of 5 to 10 million. Subtract 10 years from them and see the infrastructure that they had. Wow. Okay, now take that and put that into Calgary, plant that in your head. What did they do then that's giving us today? So let's talk infrastructure. So today our pipes are bursting. Why is that? They're supposed to be 50 years. Now, is that new? Is this brand new? Has anybody ever heard that ever happening before, pipes bursting? All right, well, let's ask ourselves a better question. If I have an infrastructure in Calgary and this is what it was doing, well, let's go to a different city that had horse and buggy, put new pipes in there at the time. How did they do their subways? What did they need to do to get to where they're at? Because the population went from 0 to 1 billion, whatever that is. So you get to actually see the blueprint of a city growth, of city potential.
That's a fascinating way to look at it. Like, technology. You can see the future. It's here right now. Just go over there and look at it.
And just look at it. I've got a ball right here. I'll tell you exactly what's going to build. I'll tell you what's going to happen in this community. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen with low-end houses. I can tell you that right now. Do you think this didn't happen before? The difference between 25 years ago and today, there was always a labor shortage. Okay? There was always a labor shortage. There was always a housing shortage. Go back into the news, 1988, we have a problem here. Global warming, they do the same thing. Go back 25 years ago. Did you know that we're not going to have the newscast that they're doing? Okay. And I'm not saying there isn't global warming or not, but the bottom line is when you look at that, okay, oil and gas was always supposed to be bad. It's the same thing. Go back 25 years ago. Nothing's changed. We think we have different problems because our technology is faster. Yes, we have AI. Yes, our fast growth, what we call the hockey stick growth. Yes, AI has now taken us 5 years of growth within 6 months, kind of thing, however that story goes. So when you look at that, But it still doesn't change the way humanity is and where we were 100 years ago to where we're at. What was the new and up and coming thing? Go back 100 years ago, or go back 100 years ago, that revolutionized and changed? Horse and buggy, right? And you've seen that horse and buggy. What did that do? That got the car came along. The road systems changed. What jobs got killed back then? Stables, right? Right? Electricity. What happened then? They talk about growth was only like this, and then that happened. Their growth was this.
Yeah, there's all those examples.
There's that.
The
They're there.
exponential growth.
Now we're AI. Oh, but if you see here, now we're here.
But it's the same pattern, is what you're saying. So it's the pattern is recurring. Yeah, it looks a little different on the surface, but we can look at that pattern that recurs.
And then so you take Calgary as a whole, and you think back in the day when Nenshi was here, and even before, I think it was even but Nenshi, when you look at, they didn't want urban sprawl, right? Urban sprawl, that was the worst thing. We got to build up. Okay, we've got to build a downtown and build up. Well, the biggest thing that they talked back then was that what we're going to do is we're going to build up downtown. We're going to make the downtown core vital. It's all that. Oh, wait a sec. We have problems with traffic going into downtown. What do we need to do? Well, you know what we should do? What would be really good for downtown Calgary is if we can get all the companies downtown is to do work sharing, meaning have them say start work at 11 and at 6. So instead of the rush hour being all in the morning, we can spread it out during the day and leaving downtown during the day. Oh, if they could do that. And these were just suggestions. So they're going, okay, well, here's suggestions to do that. Then all of a sudden all the gas changes, and then all of a sudden making it revitalized and where it is. And then they want that 15-minute city. So what does that look like? There's a whole different story behind that. And then the energy sector. But go back, horse and buggy. There's a correlation. Okay, there is a correlation. Just watching, is going to be different. Like what areas will be popping up. So you take an area that's going to be built, and they're going to say, we're going to have low housing in this area. We're going to build these as fast as we want. 17,000 houses going to be built in area A, and that's where it is. Well, what are we creating? Brooklyn? What are we creating? A low area housing area? That's this, and I don't know that, but if you looked at other cities and the quadrants of cities in metropolis places, how is their infrastructure set up?
How do those look?
And so when we look at it, do we need it? Yes, we do. Is it going to grow? Yes, it is. Is there going to be issues? Yes, it is. But we always have issues. In my industry, what I see, it's for me, it's awesome. I got construction grade stairs that I can put out thousands of them. I think it's like it's the numbers are staggering. So it's for me, I don't have a lot of competition in that industry. The fact is I really know that industry. So for us, it's like, okay, here's where we go. We got the labor. We got to do this. We got technology on our side. All right, I'm just another cog in that wheel that can get that commodity out there, and until that basically new developments are being made. Look at Europe, how Europe their infrastructure set up versus here, versus shopping malls. Okay, grocery stores, just the financing. They can say, oh, they do this table to farm, and they got more population. They here are preservatives versus this. Like there's whole other conversation on that side, which is pretty cool. But the past dictates your future. So do we see Calgary's going to be awesome? There's lots of things going to happen. We're vibrant. We're plugged in. Everyone's putting in. They got the communities are going. It's got its work out.
What are you most excited for in the future? Like say 10 years, in the next 10 years?
Oh, my speaking tour is actually what can I do to put back and give back? Awesome. So in my next 10 years, it's just to say, okay, here, that's why my personal branding, working on that part of it. What can I do to give back, to put back? So, and that's where I see the next 10 years. Is Spindle Stairs and Railings going to be around? You bet. Is it going to be bigger and better? You bet. Is all the companies I have going to be bigger and better? Yeah. But what does that do for me? Well, what can I do to give back to young entrepreneurs?
That enables you to give back more.
Give back, and then see that, and see the things that we never knew that was possible to create the wow factor.
Amazing. Yeah. Okay, last rapid fire. Top 3 books.
So you'll love this story. Okay, I wrote a book. Okay, The Art of Spindle Stairs and Railings. I'm writing another book, The Obsessed Mindset. I have never ever read a book in my life.
Really?
Not one. Another tidbit for you. I have never ever watched a podcast in my life.
Really?
And to this day, I have never watched my podcasts. To this day.
Wow, that's cool. That's cool.
So when they ask those, and I get people that ask me that all the time. Well, the books, I understand books. I've seen them. Yes, can I read? Yes, of course I can. Do I read books? No, I don't have time. Don't want to. Anyway, that's storytelling. So with the podcast, because I have to be true and genuine to who I am. So the podcast, oh, you should sound like more like Joe Rogan, or you should sound like this. No, it's not about that. It's about being the best you possibly can at that particular time in the moment. Then I'm authentic, because I can't copy or trace someone else because I don't know what it looks like. So then my podcast is actually truly real. It's nobody but me. I don't even know I know my intros. I know what my intro sounds like. And my producers do a great job, and people edit it, like they say, oh yeah, this, but we don't critique it, just due to the fact is it has to be genuine. So for me, it's like
authentic.
I said, because if I know what it's doing today, how am I going to know what it's going to do tomorrow? Just like business. If you're not doing it, you'll never know what you could have become. Just like the podcast. I don't need to know. I just need to know that I'm going to do it. Just like business entrepreneurs, just do it. We can analyze the hell out of anything, but if you're not proactive and changing the world right away, you'll never know it. So it has to represent your whole life, your business, your life, your work. Everything has to be fully encompassing of everything. And that's the integrity behind who we are and what we are. So
Amazing.
So asking about the 3 books? No. Oh, unless you write Spindle Stairs and Railings, but and I self-published it and then do that. So
Awesome.
What else you got?
Well, when's your next bodybuilding? Like, what are you training for?
Oh, okay. So I belong to the WMBF bodybuilding. So what's really interesting about the WMBF is that it's a non-federation. It's a federation. Obviously, no gear, and gear means steroids and stuff like that. And you have to be 10 years clean and doing it. And what's really interesting, but the guys that are over 50, and you look at your health, wealth, and mindset. Guys that are over 50 have a tendency to think that they're not in shape yet. So you can get into shape after 50. So that's why the bodybuilding came into play. So my next competition is not till November, but I start what we call as a cut phase now. So you got to cut and get trimmed down, but I work out every day. But I find that it's really important that how many guys over 50 don't really look after themselves in a way that they could. Again, I go back to that tension relieving or goal achieving, is that to understand what it feels like to actually be really dialed in, especially at our age of 50 now. And I'm 55, 56. And I'm so dialed in right now and I'm connected. And that can only be because of my health. And then going in there and truly listening and truly building, and then being on a podcast and getting myself out there to truly change the world on one day at a time. So where we're at, but the bodybuilding is a big factor for people to come in and do the wow factor and get yourself in shape and just move forward. Move forward. But November is my competition. I compete in Boston for the Worlds, Seattle and Calgary. So it'll be all over.
Awesome.
If we're gonna do it, I gotta go big.
Oh yeah.
You can't do local. You eat or be eaten. It's one of those things, and everyone knows me, man. Kevin's got his it's a non-negotiable. So it's like, let's go. So
Okay. Two more questions. To like develop the mindset you have, do you have like specific practices you do, like like journaling, meditation, and any things like that, daily habits that you would recommend?
Yes. So yes, 100%. It's a daily habit every day, and it has to be consistent. And people that listen, like David Goggins, and I'll throw that out there, and creating calluses and where he's at. The biggest thing is have consistency, and the biggest thing is in the morning. So what I do is to create consistency is when I go to bed at night is you lay there and you replay the day. Good, bad, or indifferent. Replay it in your head, like Groundhog Day. Replay everything. Okay, good, bad, or indifferent. But highlight in your mind the greatest successes and wins you had in your mind during the day. As small as it can be, as in you beat the light. Okay. Enjoy the feeling of beating the light, as small as that is great. Now you're gonna have things that are down that bring you down. Sure. Recognize it, it's over. Now, if it really starts to draw on you and it's really bugging you, role play it in your head and do the reverse with it. Like make it so bad, like this guy, he didn't pay me. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to his door. I'm going to do this, right? Role play it in your head. And then once you role played it and you realize how stupid you sound, you throw it out. It's like, well, that was stupid. That's stupid. But then role play everything in your head about how great it's going to be, how great your day was. And it has to be great. Everything's always about great. Never bad. Next thing, by morning, the time you wake up in the morning, when you get up in the morning, before you just jump out of bed, go do what you do, visualize your day. I'm going to have a great day. What am I going to do? I'm going to do this. Have a plan of attack. What does it look like? Change your way of going to work. Okay. Go this way instead of that way. Just change a routine, just one little routine, but know you changed it. Okay. And then all of a sudden, you mean I could change that? And then your mind will go, I can change that. You mean I can change this? And then it's just building calluses because you made one little change. That little change that you did because you said you were going to do it became an action.
Right.
Okay. Not, well, if I change that, you get the guy on your shoulder that's going, well, if I change that, well, this is going to happen. I'm going to be late for work. I'm going to be do this. All the things that tell you why you can't. As soon as all the things that tell you why you can't, that's when you do it. Yeah. Then all of a sudden, that guy that keeps telling you, the next thing you know, one more is gone.
Yeah.
Then the next more is gone. Then all of a sudden, everything you do, you just do. And you don't even know why. I have now habits that, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get up in the morning and I'm going to go drive this way to work. Okay, done. Now, because I said it in my head, now it's already there. Next thing I know, I'm driving in that direction. I just drove that way and I'm going, why am I going this? Oh yeah, I told myself I was going that way. I'm already on autopilot. So I truly recognized what autopilot looks like because I already put it on without realizing I'm on it.
Yeah.
What a powerful statement. Like, you mean I get to pre-play my day and everything and it's just going to happen? I'm able to actually do that.
Yeah.
And that's with time and effort and practice. So when you talk about practice and keep creating mindset, it's always being self-aware of where you are at any given time and live your life with intention. Intentionally know what you're doing every day. Don't just go with the flow. Intentional living to do this, and have a purpose to it. Because once you do the purpose for your 30, 60, 90 days, it will create, and they say habit, but what it'll actually do, it'll create you a mindset that all of a sudden you can do anything you want to do. You'll just say, I'm going to do this, and all of a sudden, holy crow, I can't believe I'm doing this. And it's done, you go, well, that was easy. Why was that bad? Why didn't I do it in the first place?
Yeah. So it's like you give yourself permission to change your habits at the beginning of the day, and then you realize, oh, if I can change this little habit, I can change any habit and I can get any result I want.
Right. And remember, change happens in an instant. People say, oh, I got a bad habit of smoking. I smoke and smoke. No, you don't. If you want to quit smoke, quit smoking.
One decision.
Yeah. When you stop now. You've decided it's a non-negotiable. It's over. Change happens in an instant. It's not, oh, it takes me 3 weeks to make a change. No, change happens the day you decide the changes that you're going to make it. And then that's just the way it is. Once you've decided that, it's over. You can do anything. And I look at where I'm at and I see exactly what that is. I'll tell you exactly where to go. I'll show you exactly how to do that. This is not hard. This isn't rocket science. And we just go, it's an easy script to do.
Yeah. Just have to do it.
Just do it. Yeah.
Okay. Last one. So you mentioned your mentors in EO. Who are your mentors now? Who do you look up to now?
So my mentors that I look up are my group, in my EO mentors. So all the guys that are in my EO group, they all bring different aspects to mentoring. Some will be emotional, physical. No, not necessarily physical. More emotional. Some will be for business, but not even business. Because we're past the business side of it. So it's just basically going and living life and what that journey is going to be. They're my mentors. My EO group are my mentors. So the 8 of them, we sit together and we grow together and learn together and cry together.
Amazing.
So those are my mentors. As say that, Richard Branson or Tony Robbins or this guy are my mentor. No. They have a business. They're running a business, and their business is to do this. And they have a business model. But are they a mentorship? It could be to some people, which is great. So it's just, what are you looking to get out of it? Yeah.
Okay, great. Kevin, it's been
thank you very much. I really appreciate the invite.
It's a great conversation.
And go from there.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
No problem.
Yeah.